Hey, can you guys hear me in the back there? Clearly? Okay. Well, hey, listen, good morning and Happy New Year. I think it's still early enough for me to say Happy New Year, right? I think we go through all of January saying that. And it's my honor to welcome you today to today's special event with our governor, Mike DeWine, and important civic and business leaders from our region. We've come together this morning to discuss second chances, an especially relevant topic given that we're in the season of renewal and second chances. Giving individuals a second chance at living a purpose-filled, truthful, fruitful life is a cause near and dear to me as Fifth Third's Chief Corporate Responsibility Officer and as Fifth Third Bank, obviously supporting Jeff in this effort. In this role, I get an opportunity to lead some of this work to improve the lives of people living in our region and to help build stronger communities. We are very accustomed to going into these communities and have been historically invested in trying to make sure that our communities and everyone in those communities have an equal opportunity at the American dream. We believe that this program and programs like this is one of the first steps into giving everyone an equal opportunity. A little later this morning, we're going to have the opportunity to hear from some of the folks here in this region who are doing an unbelievable job around second chance hiring. We're going to have an opportunity to hear some best practice sharing as well. And then our panel is going to be moderated by our own Jeff Krasanik, the chief economist for our commercial bank. In Jeff's role, he provides research and analysis that impacts the bank's key markets, providing insight to business leaders and policymakers throughout the country. Jeff has been a leader in this space for some years now, and I'm really, really excited to hear what he has to say. He has a groundbreaking book that I think is on most of our tables called Untapped Talent that shares the business case and best practices of hiring people with criminal records. These books are for you as gifts from Fifth Third Bank. But first, before we get started, we're going to share a video that will highlight the full impact of second chance hiring, not only as a business strategy, but in its ability to change lives, build stronger families, and create a safer, more prosperous Cincinnati region. So thank you.
None of us are judged by the actions of our weakest moments, but rather by the strength we show when and if we're ever given a second chance.
The mission at Nehemiah is simple: to build brands, create jobs, and change lives. And that's exactly what they're doing.
From day one, when somebody walks in this building and wants a job, we want to know what their dreams are and what prevents them from being the best they can be. And over the past 14 years, we've created 8 pillars of support to provide that holistic support. One is building community. We have affordable housing. We have Nehemiah properties. We have a first-time buying program. So people who want to buy their first home, we will match equity up to $5,000, gross that up. We have transportation programs. We're on the bus line. And those are the things that give them a foundation. Early on, my business partner is Tom Williams. We knew we had something here and we couldn't hire everyone.
Mike Taylor says Nehemiah saved his life.
Yeah, I got sentenced in the end for a burglary where I was sentenced to 2 years in prison, and I really struggled to find a job. You know, going from job to job, I was lying on my applications. At one point in time, one of the jobs I was working at, I'd worked there for 9 months as a temp, and they were going to hire me on, and they were going to let me, skip a couple rungs in the ladder. I was going to be a supervisor. So I was going to go from temp, hire on, straight to supervisor. And I went home, and I celebrated, and I was so excited. And the next day I came in, they had done a background check on me. And so that day they came up and actually escorted me off the property with 2 armed guards. And I was like, I'm the same guy that has worked for you for 9 months. It was completely demoralizing.
This sent Mike spiraling back to drugs until he met someone from Nehemiah who offered him a chance.
So I started at Nehemiah. The second day, Dan comes down and he shakes my hand and he says, we hear you've been through a lot. We're here to help. If there's anything you need, just let me know.
We're all called to treat people with love, dignity, and respect. Treat people the way you want to be treated, right? But there's a business case for what we do. And that business case is when you really think about the people first, you get that paycheck. And what does that mean? People showing up on time, people busting their butt on the production line. That means increased productivity, low turnover, better bottom line. Tom Williams, I said, let's bring everybody down from the CDC, and Rodney was one of the early individuals to come down. And I think he was impressed and inspired. I believe they had policies that said you didn't hire certain people with felonies, and they changed that. And they stuck their toe in the water and tried that for a few years. And I remember Rodney telling me that they had hired 43 people, still had 41 after 2 years. That was blown away, over 90% retention.
Dan was promising me that there was no limit to what I could accomplish. And so that was 12 years ago, somewhere in those 12 years. I don't know when it wasn't overnight, but I realized that I'd done a lot of bad things in my life, but I wasn't a bad person.
Locally, we have several organizations helping second chance employees and employers match, like Talbert House.
I was making bad decisions and I didn't know what I wanted out of life, and I was following around the wrong people that I thought was friends and wasn't. And then I went to prison, and then when I came out of there, came to the Talbert House, that absolutely helped and encouraged me, saying I could reach my goals.
Mission here at Talbert House to build a stronger community. When my clients call me, or they either send me an email to let me know that they have gained an interview or have gained employment, my heart is smiling because I know that they are ready and willing to go to work.
JBM Packaging created Fair Chance in 2009. Over 25% of their employees started through Fair Chance.
As somebody got out of prison and we learned all the struggles that they had to go through, it helped us better understand a lot of the background services that we really needed to help them with in order for them to be successful. It's an investment in the person.
My goal is to be that symbol of hope for all of the men and women that are incarcerated. It's all about their mindset, working hard, and putting your all into what you want to do.
This is no longer just Cincinnati. We've taken this across the country. Our governor is highly engaged in supporting the cause. So this is really a movement, a national movement. If anybody wants to do it, come down to Nehemiah. Let us take you through it. Get a real feel for how transformative this is for not only the folks, but it will change your culture. It will change your organization for the better.
I better find these glasses or this is over. Thank you all for being here. This is extremely important. And given my involvement with Nehemiah since its inception, you can imagine how excited I am about this event and having our governor with us. Building our workforce through second chance hiring, Kroger calls it new beginnings, is not only essential to breaking the generational cycle of poverty, but is also great for business. As you will hear from my partner, Eric Wellinghoff, Dan's and my partner, our turnover at Nehemiah is 15%. Kroger is experiencing the same phenomenon at their place. These people will run through walls for us, and we experience tremendous loyalty and work ethic. And the impact of the families in our communities is exponential. If we're going to make capitalism work for everyone, then this is an extremely critical part of the solution. To our governor, he is a true Reds fan. And he's politically astute even beyond politics. When the Reds are doing well, he calls Castellini. When they're doing poorly, he calls me.
True story.
It's a true story. It's always an honor and a privilege to be able to introduce you, Mike. And throughout your years of public service, Mike has shown an unwavering and tireless commitment to the growth and prosperity of our great state of Ohio. After he served in the U.S. Senate and returned to public office to become the 50th Attorney General of Ohio, he became our governor, a true lifetime of public service. Mike recognizes the potential in every citizen and understands the importance of inclusive growth. His vision for Ohio is one where every person has the opportunity to succeed regardless of their past. And like every other commitment he has made over the years, his genuine interest in this issue is not merely for political gain, but rather comes from his head and his heart. I don't want to fail to mention that as our governor, he has been a great friend to Cincinnati and Southwest Ohio. Please join me in welcoming a very good friend of mine as well, Governor Mike DeWine.
Tom, thank you very much. Good to be with all of you. The story he told about the Reds is absolutely true. I plead guilty. Tommy tells me he's going to fix the income disparity, right? We just need to spend about half what if we had just half the money that the Dodgers have, right?
Almost.
Oh, yeah. It's unbelievable. Let me thank all of you for being here. Thanks for KMK for doing this, for Talbert House, Fifth Third, for being the sponsors. This is a topic that is near and dear to my heart, and I'll tell you in a moment why. But let me start off with one figure. 18,000. 18,000. Just keep that in mind. I'm going to come back to that. When I was growing up, I grew up in a small village near Dayton, near Springfield. It was Yellow Springs. And my family owned a seed business, ran a seed business. Family was in it. My grandmother ran the office. My grandfather, he and my grandmother had started it, and my parents were working there. And I started working there when I was probably in junior high. A lot of loading trucks with bags of seed, and a lot of loading boxcars as well, and did about everything that you could do. I worked there every summer, worked there after school, but then when I was in college, worked there every summer until I think my second or third year of law school. So spent a lot of time there. Got to know the people who worked there very, very, very well. There was one guy, we called him Shorty. He was shorter than I am. That's his nickname. That's what everybody knew him by. His name was Leonard Steele. And just a phenomenal person, phenomenal worker. He and I ended up going out doing different things where it was just many times just the two of us working. And I had heard that Leonard had been in prison. And so one day we're out there, and we were working outside that day, I think, and I said, "Hey, Shorty," I said, "somebody said you'd been in prison." He said, "Yep." I said, "How long are you there?" He said, 18 years. I said, "Okay, 18 years." He said, "Yeah." He said, I cut a guy." I said, "Well, that sounds like a long time for even cutting a guy." He said, "Well, he died." So he killed a guy, and I never did find out the whole story. Didn't really want to get into it. I suspect it was an alcohol related thing. It was a relative of his, and he killed him. But Shorty was just the sweetest guy, and worked with him. And if my dad, my grandmother needed a job done, they knew that someone would just get on it and do it and stay on it until it was done. It was Shorty. I mean, he worked there for many, many years, as long as I was there. And that was my first introduction, as a kid, to somebody who had been in prison, and been in prison for a significant period of time. 18,000. 18,000 is the number of people come out of the Ohio prisons every single year. Some been there a long time, some been there, a lot of them short time, but it's 18,000. And as I tell people, it's important for us to work with everybody who's in prison, because most of them are coming out, and they're coming back into society. And how well they do when they get back out affects all of us. We live at a time when we need every worker we can find. Business tells me that. It's not unique to Ohio. But it's also in obviously our self-interest for that person not to go back to prison. It's an expensive proposition. We don't want them back into crime. We want them to be able to live their dream. What you saw with Nehemiah and what I've seen when I've visited is one amazing example of what does in fact work. We do a lot in prison. Everybody has the opportunity, no matter what the level of security, to be educated. Sometimes it's college, sometimes it's career tech, sometimes it's a GED, many things. And then there's work that we do when they get out. But ultimately, whether that person gets a job is going to depend to certainly to some extent, is whether or not anyone's willing to give them a job. Who's willing to take a chance on them? And our recidivism rate in Ohio is low. We're proud it's low. We work at it. Some go back. That's always going to be the case. But our rate is in fact low, and we know it gets a lot lower when someone has a job. I was talking the other day to Ronnie Burks, who's right here, and I'm going to ask Ronnie, come on up here. Ronnie's Deputy Director for Reentry. She was a warden and done a number of other things in prisons, and she was kind of telling me, recapping for me the other day, what we do in prison, but what we do outside. And I said, well, I thought after a while, I said, Ronnie knows this better than I do. And so I'm going to go back, Tommy, to a term we used in the United States Senate when I was there. I'm going to yield some time over and to Ronnie. And Ronnie's going to quickly kind of tell you what we do inside prison and what we do out. But thanks, everybody, for being here. It really does depend, though, on the business community. Business community being willing to hire people, being willing to work with people. And we know that when someone gets out, their success is going to depend to a great extent. First of all, they got to want to do it. They got to want to succeed. But their success is going to depend to a great extent on, can they get a job? Can they find a place to live? Do they have the transportation? And as Tommy and I were talking a moment ago, if they get a job, the company can help with those other two as well, and things can work out, and you have some amazing success stories. Come on up. Ronnie, come on up. Thank you very much. Thanks, Ronnie.
Thank you, Governor, and good morning. As the Governor mentioned, I have the privilege to serve in the Office of Reentry for the Ohio Department of Rehabilitation and Correction. It is a rare occasion that I have the space to speak with our business executives, so I am so very grateful to the Governor, to Talbert House, and to all of the sponsors of this event. As I take a moment to share with you a little about the work we do, the people we serve, and how we work together to build Ohio's workforce, it is my hope that at the end of this symposium, you'll have a stronger desire to create fair chance hiring practices, create cultures of opportunity, and to work with reentry partners to build fair chance hiring programs in your businesses. The Office of Reentry is committed to connecting individuals with programs, with communities, programs, and services. And we have the vision for successful reintegration of everyone that we touch back into our communities. Many of you may have heard the saying, reentry starts at reception. What that means is that reentry starts at the beginning when people first come into prison. It is so important that we focus on reentry and we build a plan around successful reintegration. Under the leadership of our director, Annette Chambers-Smith, our agency uses every opportunity to create environments of success inside of our institutions where the people we serve can gain quality services. You heard the Governor mention education. We offer educational opportunities at all of our facilities. We have college at all 28 prisons, regardless of security level. We offer vocational training. We offer opportunities for folks to earn licensures and certificates so that when they come home to you and I, they come home and they can be successful. And so it's so important that that you understand that the Office of Reentry really understands the impact that a felony conviction can have on someone who is returning back to the community. It creates barriers. You heard the governor mention housing, transportation. Those are two of our major barriers. And the third is employment. And that's why we're here today. Our 8 reentry coordinators in our office actually cover the entire state. They cover all 28 prisons, all 88 counties. And they work with community leaders just like you to ensure that the men and women we serve have an opportunity to be successful. 2 of our reentry coordinators are here today, Ernest Stockton and Jennifer Nail. Jennifer, actually, this is her region, and they're sitting back. Will you wave your hand? They're sitting back at the table right there. I want you to know who they are, because these are your contacts. These are folks who can help you within our agency for success. They do this through avenues such as pre-release video conferencing. So we do video meetings between our incarcerated persons and our institutional staff, our community partners where they're returning to. Sometimes the parole officers join, and we work together to build a plan. We do something called Video Inreach, where our community partners, such as Trina Jackson, who's also sitting at that table, she's over the Hamilton County Office of Reentry right here in Hamilton County in Cincinnati. Trina and her team, they join video conferences, and they get to share with the men and women that we serve about the services they offer. They get to build a rapport so that trust is there, so that when people leave prison, they return and they go seek services with Trina and her team and other community partners like Brian Mall for Jumpstart, who's here today. So we're really excited about these relationships that we build in the community. I often say, Governor, our office is the office of relationships, because it's so important that we make connections with people who can help us help the people who are incarcerated. I'm going to jump over part of my speech because, Governor, I'm a big storyteller, and you know I told you a story the other day. But I do want to share this. Adam Siddle. Adam was incarcerated in our institutions for about 7 years. His last couple years of incarceration, he had a chance to work at our headquarters. He worked every day helping with maintenance things around our building. He's very talented when it comes to the maintenance type things. Adam was released from prison in 2021, in May of 2021. A few days later, we hired Adam. He started working for our agency. Today, a couple years later, Adam's title, and I wrote it down because I wanted to make sure I get it right because it is just that important. But Adam's title is Building Project Manager. He's now overseeing the move of our office into our new building that'll be open next year. So I want to tell you, we're not asking you to do things that we're not willing to do. Our office is working hard to ensure that inside of our facilities, we have the programming, the treatment, the education that is needed, and that we work hand in hand with people who are long-term, high risk, high need, who need help returning back to our communities. And Adam is just a prime example of one of those folks. There are many Adams across the state and across this country. So as I close, I want to just say, first of all, I'm just asking you today to give the people we serve a fair chance. Give them a fair examination of their qualifications and their education, and make those the determining factors in hiring, not their felony conviction. Invest in fair chance hiring, create second chance opportunities. My office, the Office of Reentry, our Office of Workforce Development, headed by Vernice Robinson, we're here to help. So we're not asking you to do this alone. We are here to help you. If you reach out to us, the governor said to me the other day, well, how do people get your help, Ronnie? I said, just call me. Just call me. If you call me, or if you reach out and call anybody on our team, we will connect you with the folks you need to be connected with. We don't want you to walk this alone. I'm also going to offer this to you, and I did not ask my director if I can do that, but I'm going to take a chance and do this. And I know how she is and how she feels about reentry. If any of you have never toured a prison before, and you're interested in really seeing what happens behind bars, not what you see on TV, but what really happens, the hard work that we put in to save lives, reach out to me and let me know. I'll arrange a tour for you, and I'll meet you there, so you don't have to go to the tour alone. So as I close, I just want to publicly thank Marcus Shishang from JBM. Marcus is amazing, and ODRC is ever grateful to you. You always tell me how grateful you are to us. No, we're grateful to you. I want to thank Dan Meyer, who's not here, but I met Eric today, Eric Wellinghoff. Eric, I just want to thank you, because Nehemiah When you walk the halls of Nehemiah, you feel the culture there. You feel the culture of success, and you know that it doesn't matter about your background. What matters is what you're doing today. And so as you all continue to open doors for the people that we serve, you continue to create second chances, you help us do what I believe that we do every day and what our purpose is. We are in the business of saving lives. Thank you for giving me this moment to just hear from me. Governor, thank you. I'm ever so grateful to you. And I'm grateful to our governor for support because he gets it. Thank you. And I turn things over to Jeffrey.